Ah yes, our thoroughbred race car, speed machine Nissan Sentra. So last time on the Extras channel, we put racing tires on it, which made it a lot faster, to say the least. And after that video, I had some more plans for upgrades. I want to do an adjustable brake proportioning valve. I want to do some weight distribution stuff. I want to put bucket seats in it. But, well, none of that stuff's here yet. So we're going to start off with something free. Okay, we are going to remove this front bash bar because it's overhung weight in the worst place possible. So on a race car, we want at least 50-50 weight distribution front and rear for the best handling. Maybe a little bit toward the rear, like 60%. A front wheel drive car is not good in that aspect because we've got 60% of the weight in the front, which is the opposite of what we want. Basically, there's no real advantages to running a front wheel drive, and yet we are anyway, for some reason. I don't know, it's just what we have. So the more weight we can get off of the nose of the car, the better it's going to handle. Okay, that weighs about, I don't know, 15 pounds. All right, so what do I weigh? 167, and with this I weigh 179. Okay, so we'll call it like 12 pounds. Not bad. Now 12 pounds may not sound like a lot, but again, it's from the worst possible spot on the car. Like, if it was somewhere like, you know, in the rear or in the interior somewhere, I'd say, nah, just leave it, it's not worth it. But off of the nose, where we really need to remove weight, yeah, it's worth it. And that's also not really a safety item. All the crumple zones are up in here. Basically, all that does is protect your radiator support and stuff in a fender bender. Later on, we'll fabricate a crash bar that will not only be lighter, but also work better than that. Not right now though. Also, this washer fluid reservoir, I've had this car for 6 years and it's been broken the entire time. So I figure if I haven't fixed it by now, I'm not gonna. So we're gonna remove that too. Well, this doesn't weigh much, maybe about a pound, but we'll take it. So sometimes race cars do use washer fluid reservoirs, but if I was gonna put one in, I'd put it in the trunk. Okay, so that's done. So we've already done quite a bit of weight reduction up here as it is. We've got lightweight headers, the AC compressor's gone, the condenser's gone. If only there was some more weight reduction, like a literal box of lead or something. Yeah, the battery needs to move to the trunk. Not only is it moving our weight forward, it's also moving it up, which is also bad just because it sits so high. We got stuff in the mail. So this is our adjustable brake proportioning valve. So when we were on the track last weekend, I noticed that the front brakes lock up way before the rears. Like, it feels like the rears aren't doing much braking at all. And basically, manufacturers, when they set the brake bias, they put it toward the front on purpose so that the front locks up way before the rear. So when you slam on the brakes, the rear doesn't slide out, because that would cause the average person to have an accident. But when we're racing, that's kind of what we want. When we're going into a turn braking, we want the rear end to slide out a little bit. So that's where this comes in. We can just adjust the brake bias wherever we want it to be. Okay, so this needs to go down here someplace. Thankfully, Nissan gave us a lot more room in here than Chrysler did with the Charger. This dent just keeps coming back. I wore a hole in the bottom of my shoe. Also, there's birds in this fern, so it's cool, I guess. Okay, so this master cylinder is kind of goofy. So normally on a master cylinder, you got a front piston and a rear piston, a front port and a rear port. This has two pistons, but it's got a front port and also a front port, a rear port and also a rear port. There's 4 friggin' ports coming off this stupid thing. And basically, the front ports just go straight to the brakes, while the rear ports go through this, what I think is a restrictor. They call it the proportioning valve, but it's just a restrictor. And that goes to the rear brakes. So with that being said, I got to doing some research, and this car is old enough to where when it was new, you could option to have anti-lock brakes or not. Our car does not have anti-lock brakes, so we have the non-anti-lock brakes master cylinder. But if you got anti-lock brakes, you got this master cylinder that has 2 ports on it as God intended. So this is going to work a lot better for us. From what I can tell, it's just gonna bolt right on. Yeah, it's fine. Oh, you're a super shitty ass flare. What the hell happened? Why is that so bad? So that flare is shitty ass cheeks and the tool bent. What the shit? I've never had that happen before. Why? Okay, I bent the tool back. We're gonna try it again.
God didn't work this time.
Okay, that one's still not the best, but it looks like it might seal, so we'll take what we can get. Okay, I got two okay flares down there, so I'm gonna bend them both into this T and hope they seal.
This way.
Flaring tool broke. Duralame, you let me down. Okay, I went and got another flaring tool. So the Harbor Freight flaring tool is defective out of the box because the hole is too small for the 3/16 line. So I think I had the same problem with the Charger. I think I bought this same one and had the same problem. So their flaring tools suck. The Duralast at least lasted for a while until it didn't. Duralast, last until it doesn't. Why does every brake flaring tool suck shit? I don't understand. Bird update. They're a lot bigger now. Why the hell would you build a nest right there? Anyway, okay, I got a third brake flaring tool. This one's from Advance Auto. This one has longer sticks that come out of the things. Maybe that's better. This tool, the hole is a little bit too small to actually clamp down flush, and so when we flare it, it's got a little line going through the flare. That's 1000% gonna make it leak. Dude, Okay, I combined the shitty tools to make one functioning tool. I used the Duralast clamp thing, the Advance Auto this thing, and the Advance Auto these things, and finally made a flare. Thank God. The flaring tool finally accomplished its one goal in life. Yes. Hold on. No. Had to replace that line because it was too short. I'm hoping to reuse this one though. Hey Project Farm, can you make a video on brake flaring tools? Okay, thanks. Okay, it's all together now, so it's just a matter of will it leak or not. Oh yeah, that's a good pedal. Press it real hard, see if we have any leaks. Okay, I don't see any leaks. Excellent. That wasn't hard to bleed at all. I didn't bench bleed the master cylinder or anything. I just threw it in there. The bottle method is the way. Okay, we get to play with our new toy now. So we're gonna set the brake bias to full rear. And hopefully the rear wheels lock up because that means it's working. Okay, stopping. Oh yeah. Yeah, that locked the rear up. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, it's like I'm pulling the parking brake. So, yeah, that works pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, now I'm gonna adjust it full front, just to make sure it works. Okay, it should feel much different now. Oh yeah. Yeah, we already locked up the front just from that. Yep. Oh, that's working as intended. That's a worthwhile mod, I'd say. A big part of what makes a race car is adjustability. The more adjustability you can get into it, the better off you are. And we just added one more adjustable thing, so good. I got a new microphone for the camera. Does it sound better? I hope so. Anyway, so moving on to seats, you may notice that they're Barney ass We're a Happy Family purple. And the reason for that is they were $100 off, which left me with a dilemma. Am I willing to save $100 to have Barney purple We're a Happy Family seats? And the answer was obviously yes. Okay. Okay, pause for a minute. So I was just in here, we got the seat out. I was thinking, okay, we gotta cut here and fabricate some stuff around here. But then I realized I'm used to working on stuff like that has zero aftermarket, but this car does, and I forget about that sometimes. I can just buy the solution, so we can get that bracket on the way that just bolts right on, and we can bolt the seats right on and save like a shit ton of time. So we're just gonna do it like that. We didn't remove the seat for no reason though, because we need some place to route this big ass cable because we're moving the battery to the trunk. 209, okay, so this battery weighs about 40 pounds. That's quite a bit. Okay, so I've been looking around on this thing at the firewall and under the dash, trying to figure out the best places to route this cable from the front to the trunk. And I think I found the best spot, which is right here above where the rest of the harness routes. And obviously I could just stick it straight through here, but then it won't be watertight anymore, and that's not good. Bird update. I think they're half domesticated at this point. Hey, I found cotton candy. Okay, I got a big ass crimper and big ass terminals for the big ass cable.
How do you expect me to do this shit?
Okay, never mind. So I got these hydraulic crimpers from Harbor Freight, and it says they're good for up to 0 gauge wire, which is what this is, but it's not big enough to go over it. It's not even big enough to go over the terminals, and it's got these things that you can remove, and I tried shimming it on there like that, but it didn't work. I found this kind online with the end that comes off that allows you to slide it over the cable. That would work, but this one doesn't do that. So basically what I'm saying is bad design, dumb, have to get something different. I just thwacked it with an extension for now. When I get the good crimp tool, I'll redo them. Okay, so I got a battery mounting kit. It comes with these things and that bracket and this tray. All right, no sparks, so we're not shorted anywhere. That's good. All right. Oh yeah, that cranks at about the same speed it did before, so I think that cable's plenty big. Okay, so big ass cable goes through here, under the fender, into the interior, into the trunk, and a lot of people will use an even smaller cable than this, but it really doesn't weigh much more to just use the bigger cable, so we went with the Big Daddy.
Is this microphone any better than the old one?
I wonder how much this foam weighs. It's sagging anyway. Hey, this is like 2 pounds. So our front springs are stiff enough to the point where we don't need our front sway bar. It's been disconnected floating there for like a year, and I don't imagine myself hooking it back up anytime soon. So basically, some people say you gotta disconnect the steering or the tie rods or subframe or whatever to wiggle it out, and it's a pain in the ass. I don't feel like doing any of that. I just remembered sway bars are hardened steel. That Sawzall's not gonna do it. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, that weighs about 8 pounds. Off the nose of the car too, so that's pretty good. I mean, it was a solid steel bar just riding around in there not doing anything, so made sense to get rid of. So we've got a notable noise coming from the rear of this thing. Well, the wheel bearings feel good, so that's not it. Okay, I think I figured out what it is. So this Heim joint from our custom Panhard bar, I can see the nylon splooging out the side, so I'm pretty sure that's what the clunk is. So in other words, it's not unsafe, but it is annoying, so we might fix it before the Autocross, maybe, if we have time. Okay, the brackets that will supposedly make installing these seats easy peasy are here. We'll see how true that is. These bolts I have are too fat to go through here. It's always some shit. Same shit, different day. We're obviously going to be rotary swapping this car, but honestly, I enjoy it just like it is. But I know the engine is on its way out, and I'm not going to rebuild it, so we are going to do the swap anyway. So even without the adjusters, this thing is too tall. A big reason I wanted to get bucket seats is so that I'd fit in here better with a helmet, but I'm still hitting the roof. So I guess this seat bracket was designed for really short people. Bird update, they're gone. Okay, I drilled some more slots in the things to see how much that helped. Well, it's still sitting higher than I wanted it to, but my head isn't hitting the roof anymore too much. But the seating position is still better than the stock seat at least. My arms are closer to the wheel and I'm more upright, so that's still nice. So I just measured the weight of the stock seats versus the weight of the buckets with the brackets and stuff, and they're about 11 pounds lighter each, so 22 pounds total, not too bad. Also, on the buckets, more of the weight is down low rather than up high, so that helps too. So the Barney Purple We're a Happy Family seats, I gotta say, they look pretty damn pimp. Pretty damn pimp. So this bracket that was supposed to make it easy and simple, did it? No, not really, because we had to modify it because it was designed for Oompa Loompas. There ain't no chocolate factory around here, but anyway, they're in. So I just went for a little drive to test out the seats and stuff, and as I was pulling in, the engine got hot. The block was at like 130, but the coolant lines were at 170 where they're supposed to be, so the coolant is cold and the engine is hot. That makes sense. So I'm thinking maybe this high pressure radiator cap is not allowing coolant from the reservoir to go into the engine, maybe. So hopefully we can just fill the radiator and that'll fix that. Yeah, looks like it's just low. Where did it go? I have no idea. I will say this entire engine is worn out. It is tired, boss. But I don't really have the facilities to rebuild an engine right now, so it's just gonna have to cope with it, I guess. Okay, so here's our custom panhard bar. These Heim joints are the nylon kind and they didn't hold up too great, so we're gonna switch to the all metal kind with a grease zerk so we can keep them lubricated.
Adjustable wrench is best wrench.
Why would I use a wrench that only fits one size when I can use one that fits every size?
Oh yeah, there's no play in that.
Okay, so these are in. They're actually put in straight this time, which probably played a role in the other ones failing, so hopefully these last longer. Okay, so we just did all that work, changing those Heim joints on the panhard bar to fix this clunk, and it's still there. So we did fix a clunk, but it was the wrong clunk. So I've already checked over every single bolt on the entire rear suspension, so the only thing left is a bad coilover. So yeah, wow, the max speeding rod's coilovers wore out. That's unexpected. Anyway, it'll be fine. Okay, I found the actual culprit. The coilover is contacting the mount, and that's causing it to make a clunking sound. So take it off and smack it with a hammer. Yeah. I'm using an old dirt track tire as a jack stand. And people come to my channel for the finest in automotive repair techniques, and I'm happy to oblige. Ow! Yeah, we can see where it's been rubbing right there. So I'm gonna hammer that a little bit and grind that a little bit. Okay, that is no longer touching. These new Heim joints probably won't last very long because they want to twist, and that makes them wear out faster, and I'm not sure why they're doing that. If somebody can tell me, let me know, because I want to know. Okay, so the clunk in the rear is now still there. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it is a bad coilover after all. That's the only thing else it could possibly be. So, I don't know, whatever, I'm over it. So all of a sudden, this hood doesn't shut. Well, okay, it just shut. It doesn't shut easily, so we're gonna replace the latch. There we go. Okay, so I was reading the SCCA rulebook, and apparently, if you move your battery to the trunk, it needs to be installed in a marine battery box. So there's a marine battery box. Okay, so this marine battery box that was designed for boats came with some shitty straps and teeny tiny screws. Yeah, right. So we went ahead and reused this bracket thing and put some angle iron in there and bolted it to the car, and basically this just goes on here and we're just gonna ratchet strap that on. Okay, so that looks like somebody knew what they were doing somewhat. I had to notch the lid to get the terminals to go out, but the battery is technically inside of a marine battery box now. Did that make the car safer? I don't know, probably not. But rules like that are typically written in blood. Some shit went down somewhere at some point for them to make that a rule. So there we go. Okay, last issue that needs fixing. So we've got another clunk, except this one's on the front because our ball joint has quit. And unlike the rear, this one is actually dangerous because that's a mission critical item. So we're gonna change that. Our bushing is looking just fantastic. I mean, it's still in there. There's no play in it, so whatever. I got a random ball joint press on eBay. See how good this is. Okay, so this ball joint kit was not designed with extended ball joints in mind. So the C-clamp is a little too small. So we need a bigger one. Mopar or no car. The clock still works. Things are looking good. Okay, well, it didn't like it, but the Harbor Freight clamp did it. I buy a lot of cheapo Chinese tools because it's just the most cost-effective way to do things. And there's basically two places you can get them, either Harbor Freight or online through Amazon or eBay. And the Amazon or eBay tools are usually cheaper than the Harbor Freight ones. Like this kit was like half the price of the Harbor Freight tool, but you can't return them as easy. Like if I broke this and tried to return it to eBay, they'd be like, oh no, you broke it, it's your fault, sorry. But if I took it to Harbor Freight, they'd be like, oh, that sucks, man, here's your money back, you want another one? Okay, so these extended lower ball joints, basically, when you lower the car, these bring the suspension geometry back where it's supposed to be so it handles properly. And not only are they more expensive, but they also wear out faster. Just because they're longer, they don't have as much leverage on the suspension. So when you combine that with sticky tires, these have a really rough life. Later on down the road, we're gonna do some fabrication to where we don't have to use these, but for now they're a necessary evil. So with the type of modifications we've done, it's not really a question of if it will be faster, it's more so how much faster will it be. So we've removed about 40-ish pounds from the car and relocated another 40-ish pounds from the front to the rear with the battery. We did the brake proportioning valve, which should help. We've got the seats, which should make driving the car more pleasant, which will also help. So all good stuff. Oh yeah, and we changed the ball joint so we don't die. That helps too. I'm gonna remove the rear seats, not so much for weight reduction, but storage. Because since we put the battery in the trunk, I can't throw the jack back in there, so I need somewhere to put my shit. I just zip tie the seat belts in place so they don't fly around everywhere. It's attached to. Yippee.
Your car 10000000. Okay.
That's right.
Get it.
Second gear, we're topping out so bad on this course. I guess I'm gonna have to shift to third. Also losing it there for a second wasn't great. Felt really good though. This thing is bouncy, holy shit. My rear wheels are just coming off the ground. We're doing stoppies. I think we got a little bit too much damping in the rear. Hey, 35.5. Brakes are actually feeling decent, but I can't go the whole race without adjusting it at least once. We're gonna turn it toward the rear slightly.
Okay.
Well, we won our class, so we done good. That doesn't sound good.
Oh no. What is that?
I don't know. I need that. I need that.
Come here, trailer.
I forgot the pin that goes in the trailer, so I just use a big old cotter pin. That's honestly probably the safest way to do it anyway. Let's go back again. So I got a ride back, an hour here, got in the Ford, got the trailer, and I'm gonna drive another hour and a half there, pick up the Sentra, and then another hour and a half back. Yes. Yeah, after this, I'm probably just gonna trailer it from the get-go, which is probably what I should have been doing anyway. We're here, let's get this thing and get out of here. Okay, let's go back now. Had to take the bumper off to attach the winch to it, add tow hook to the list. The Harley's running good. Nice. He's getting wet. Ah, ha, ha, hee, hee, hoo, hee. An issue I run into with autocrossing this car is since these engines don't rev very high, I end up topping out second gear. And on that course, which was a fast course, I ended up shifting to third twice, or once sometimes, depends how I felt. And on that last turn, I was gonna top out second gear, and I had the decision to either shift to third and then immediately shift back to second, or just ride out the limiter until it's time to brake and make the turn. And well, I chose the latter, and the engine did not like that. The upgrades we made did nice. The brakes felt better with the proportioning valve. The seats were nice. The car just felt dialed. Like, it still has a stick for rear suspension, so on some hard turns the rear end hops along the ground, but I'm not really sure how to fix that. I think that's just kind of the way it is, just with the suspension design. We got number 8 top 10 out of like 80 something cars, which is really damn good for a Sentra. Okay, so I just read the engine codes, and the only ones we have are for the throttle body. So if it really is the throttle body, then we should be okay to start it up again. Sure. What? Dude, it's fine. I gotta say, I'm not very familiar with electronic throttle bodies. All my other stuff has always been cable drive. I've never heard of one making that noise that this one made. It sounded like something in the cylinder head was loose banging around, but it was just this. Hey, it drives perfectly fine again. Never mind, I just tried to drive it a couple minutes home, and it's acting up again, so. Work, please. Just get home, come on. It's like not even a minute. It's working again, let's go. Yeah. My foot's on the floor, go, 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 okay. People argue with me when I say an electronic throttle sucks ass, and they'll go like, oh, it's actually more efficient, it's better than a cable throttle in every way. Except a cable throttle would never create this amount of drama bullshit. Well, on the plus side, this means I didn't trailer it back for no reason, because it still very much will not drive. So, I didn't waste half my day. So I'm looking at this wiring harness for the throttle body, and it's pretty rough. It's got some exposed wires in there, so maybe this is all it is. If we jiggle it while it's running and it does weird stuff, that means it's for sure a wire. Oh. Yep, okay. It's a wire. Yeah, so when we jiggled this harness, it made a weird noise and revved the engine up. So that is definitely what's going on. It's a shame I didn't notice that while we were there, but I was tired and wanted to go home, so I just said, screw it, let's go get the trailer. So when we towed this thing back, we had to remove the bumper, and that's obviously wildly inconvenient. So I'm putting on this tow strap. Well, it only sticks out that far, but it'll still work. Be fine. So I'm back under here trying to find the mysterious rear end clunk, and I actually don't think it's the max speed and rods coilovers now, because I can grab them and shake them violently and no clunk. But if I grab the axle itself, there's a clunk. So I really don't know what the shit it is. It's either the axle itself or something on the chassis of the car that's clunking somewhere. I don't know, dude. That's annoying though. You know, I would expect to have a mysterious clunk from like an independent suspension or a multi-link suspension, not from our Matchbox car ass stick suspension that's so simple. We've already checked every single component and they all feel tight, and yet it still has a clunk. That shouldn't be. It's so dumb. Where is the noise coming from? Where? Okay, I'm over it for real this time. It's got a radio for a reason. I got it a new plug for the throttle body, so we're gonna put that in.
That's good lead smoke.
Okay, new plug. Work now, please. Uh-oh. Yeah, that's not right. Damn. Why do you do this to me? Why are you so dumb? Electric throttles, they're so much better than cable throttles. You get all kinds of benefits with them. Yeah, they're so good. Look how good it's running. The electric throttle is doing its job. Throttle position sensor in range, but lower than expected. Throttle position sensor A inconsistent with map sensor. Throttle position sensor. Sure, yeah. Well, we're inside of the throttle body right now, so I'm gonna see if I can clean the position sensor or something. So I've got the throttle position sensor hooked up to the multimeter, and it definitely seems to not be working. It's just kind of throwing up random numbers. And another downside to stupid electric throttles is you can't just replace the position sensor when it goes bad. You have to replace the whole damn thing. So instead of costing 20 bucks, it costs 120 bucks. Nice. It's also glued in there, so we can't easily clean it without destroying it. Okay, I did actually manage to break it apart, and it looks pretty dirty, so I'm just gonna clean it and see if that fixes it. Okay, so I cleaned the sensor and JB welded it back together, and now it seems to be working. So I'm gonna stick this shit back together and see if it worked. I just replaced the rivets we drilled out with screws. Stick it back on. Nope, still busted. I mean, it's doing better than before. Like, it's not freaking out, it's just really sluggish now. It doesn't want to rev very fast. Okay, we got a brand new OEM made in Japan Hitachi throttle body. I hope that fixes it. Yes, it works. No. Yes. Yes. Good. So as with anything in life, there's balance to be had. Carburetors, too barbaric. Electronic throttles, too techno, too complicated. But cable throttles with electronic fuel injection is the perfect amount of technology. This is where we should have stopped. Anyway, so our upgrades were definitely a success. It feels better to drive now. The brakes feel better, the seats feel better, the balance of the car is better with the weight distribution improved. It's just all around successful. Apart from the rear end clunk that we still haven't found, it's bugging the shit out of me. But if I had a shop, I probably could have found it by now, but just laying in the grass, it's a pain in the ass. Maybe it is a coilover, I don't know. I want to upgrade them anyway. And obviously we're not done upgrading this car. We probably never will be. I want to get upgraded coilovers. I want to turbocharge it. I want to lower it more. I also think it'd be fun to weld the rear doors shut as well as the door handle and have a 2-door Sentra. So at some point we'll do all that. Anyway, subscribe.